You're listening to Tremendous Leadership with Dr. Tracy Jones.
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Tracy Jones. Welcome to the Leaders on Leadership podcast, where we pull back the curtain on leadership and talk with leaders of all ages and stages about what it takes to pay the price of leadership. And today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Kori Pennypacker. Kori, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Tracy.
You're so welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about Kori Pennypacker. Kori has over 20 years of Christian ministry experience, and she loves to build and lead teams. God has used this passion to help grow the mission at Bible to School, where she serves as the CEO. She's an author, a speaker, and an accomplished leader. Kori is on a mission to help redefine how America thinks about religion during the public school day. Kori, I cannot wait to unpack this topic with you.
I can't wait to dive in too, Tracy.
I love it. Well, as our listeners know, Charles gave a speech many years ago called The Price of Leadership, and we have since transcribed that, put it in one of our tremendous life-changing classics, and in it, he talks about the price you're going to have to pay to be a leader and not just a leader in name only. So, Kori, the first of those four concepts that he talks about is loneliness. And we've all heard the term, it's lonely at the top. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, but loneliness is a fact of being a leader. So could you unpack for us what that means to you, maybe in your walk, or perhaps where you went through a season of loneliness and could advise our listeners on how they might deal with it?
Well, Tracy, yes, everybody feels kind of lonely at the top. It's kind of fun to make the decisions and be the final say in things. But sometimes it's very hard because you don't have people to talk to about it. And there's confidential things that you can't say, or even I'm a feeler. I'm an emotional person. I'm passionate. So just a place where I can process those feelings are not with my coworkers sometimes. It has to be with other people. But one of the things that you were saying about walking through a lonely time where you have to make tough decisions, I was a new leader in an organization and basically wanted me to talk about things that were fearful or things like that. And I remember saying, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to vision cast in a fearful way. And I brought that idea with me to Bible to School because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel what God wanted me to do. And so I wanted to take that, what I learned from there, and put it into practice here. And then I came to Bible to School, and there's also factors in the world, as you know, that sells, like fear sells, right? Fear, politicians, well, it's fear, and then you pay money and donate. And with Bible to School, we really take things to the positive. We want to absolutely talk about what God's doing, talk about what God's doing in our ministry. Henry Blackaby talks about in his book, Experiencing God. It changed my life because it said, how do you get close to God? How do you stay close to God away from that fear? And it said, find where God is working and go there and join him. And so to me as a leader, when I was at that lonely place of kind of making a stand, like I'm not going to go down the dark, scare tactic to try to lead people. I'm going to say, hey, you want to come and join us. You want to join a moving bus, no pun intended with Bible to School, but come join us because God is working here. And I use that internally and externally with the organization.
Well, you brought up two great things that I want to tease out. You said you're a feeler. So that reminds me of Myers-Briggs. You're typically either an NT, an intuitive thinker, or an SF, a sensor feeler. And so you would, I'm sure, skew towards more the SF. So that's interesting that you may feel loneliness in a different, I'm an NT person, so I just look at data. So the people are like, you're kind of like Teflon. And I go, I know because I'm an NT. So, but if that's a great point, that if you are an SF, you may feel loneliness more, be more sensitive to it than people that are not.
Absolutely, because I gotta go talk about it. I gotta
Yeah.
go process it. My poor husband says, "You gotta get out your words," and I do, and that's how I verbally process, and that's really not fair to, my team because they assume I've already thought it through,
Mm.
and I've already and so to, process that whole thing about fear or figuring out what the vision should be or all those things, I gotta come to them with at least, 90% of everything in order, and in order I can process with them, I'm not saying I can't, but 90% of it I need to have figured out, and
Yes.
that's hard.
Well, and that is our responsibility as a leader. But the other thing you really hit on is when people use fear to isolate you or make you an outcast or like you're a fringe, you're one of those Bible, you bet you want Bible in the schools. And then you're like, am
Yeah.
I just, I can remember the Bible like, I'm the only one. The prophets, no, no, there's about 6,000 of you, or, kind of thing. But
Mhm.
that fear is a tool used to try and make us feel that we are lonely or alone. When I love that you swapped it and said, well, first of all, with God, we're already in the eternal supermajority. But I love
Mhm.
that you really hit that because in just sometimes the words that we use, you may feel like you against the world, but it's you against the world against you and the creator of the world. So it totally shifts everything. So I really appreciate you saying that. I have not heard it couch loneliness like that before.
Yeah, God definitely, when you put it all into perspective, you have the biggest cheerleader, the most powerful person on your side. But, Satan uses that loneliness and the fear and what all those things, they're not of God. So that's why I want to be a godly leader and to stay focused on him.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kori, for unpacking that. The next thing my father talked about is weariness. And, there was a fear, physical weariness, a spiritual weariness. And he told me very early on, he says, Tracy, when you lead people, you're going to have to realize that you're going to have some people that do more than is required, but an awful lot that do far less than what. And so, how do you stay strong when I look at Moses and the number of thumbsuckers that he had to deal with. For 80 years, it's like, "Oh my goodness."
Hmm.
How do you stay strong, Corey?
It's all very much, again, back to that safe place. I actually not only have my husband to talk to, but I also have, the inner circle around me
Yeah.
and I call them my prayer warriors.
Mm.
And they are the ones that really lift me up. I mean, Moses had, people holding his arms up,
Yeah.
right? And when you're
Aaron. Yeah.
weary, you do need to be held up and also push your chin up as well so that you can see up and not be so weary. I definitely stay away from those people that are kind of criticizing or they're doing it a different way, And it's not my way. It's definitely not my way to do it half or do it, just let's just do this much. I try to really stick with and run with people, and I've been very privileged to be in teams where people are all rowing the same direction at the same speed, and it's fun to lead that. But there are people who are like, well, why are you doing this? This isn't even this, are you really making a difference, And they just love to deflate your balloon, but I just find other people to puff it up again.
I love that, the murmurers. Yeah, get the expanders in there too. That's beautiful. And I love that you hit your inner circle. I mean, we're never meant to go through. We're the body. First of all, as
Mhm.
believers, but in all aspects of our life, the other people to help hold our arms up. So it's so true. The next topic he talked about, he did loneliness, weariness was abandonment. And
Mhm.
his concept of abandonment was hyper focus. Then he would tell me, I would be like, how'd you get so successful? And he's like, it's a miracle I'm successful because most of my time, if I really was accountable for it, I spend on doing things that, are a waste of time. So his point was I need to focus on what I ought and need to focus on and not what I like and want to focus on. So it's this kind of hyper focus or singularity. How do you, because everything is good. Oh, I'm sure there's people that come to you with, oh, this school needs this or this is a great idea. There's no shortage of great ideas to further the kingdom. But how
Right.
do you stay focused on the Bible to school and what your mission, that real niche that you have, when there's so many other great things out there.
Right. The mission is key with every conversation, with every decision I make, with every little tiny thing I do has to be about the mission and things that only I can do and delegate the rest. I mean, you know that is not a new leadership principle at all.
Right.
But I have to tell you, I'm a visual person. So I have to write it down. I have a little whiteboard beside me that I'm always whiteboarding on. And I tell my team, I can't think unless I have a yellow pad next to me.
Uh-huh.
I'm old school, and I just have to have visually in front of me the top, 6 things I'm gonna do that day, and maybe I'll get done the top 3, and the
Mhm.
other 3, I've gotta be like, "Okay, I'm gonna work on those tomorrow," and I'm okay with that. Some leaders are different that way, they just get the top 3. I'm like, "Just in case, I'm gonna get those 4, 5, and 6 done," but it focuses me also on what I'm learning or what I'm going to be focused. It also focuses on me on what I'm going to be doing tomorrow as well. I'm just the lead to me, the leader's always thinking 2, 3 years ahead. And so I figured I better start thinking a day ahead as well. So
I love it. But that's and then because sometimes you waste time in the morning, like, "What am I supposed to do today?" No, you already have that figured out. And even if you didn't get as much time to wrap up your night, like, sometimes I have, like, an hour in the evening to kinda process and plan. Other times, it's like, "I'm tired, I'm done, and I'm going to bed." But if you already, like you said, are a little bit ahead, you just get up and start going forward with it. So, I love that. I'm like you. I have to write it down because otherwise, who knows? It'll be
I
good,
know.
but it'll be a lot of wasted energy, you know?
Right. I could wander around my desk and do all kinds of things. Yeah, I'm a very much a squirrel person, but it's exciting to me. I love to just dive into the next project and the next project.
I love it. All right. So thank you for sharing that, and delegation is absolutely key. Stop doing you we can't do it all and delegate that too.
Yeah.
Vision. And vision is this word where I think a lot of people think, well, I'm not worthy. I'm not a prophet. And my dad would say, Tracy, vision is just seeing what needs to be done and doing it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that is very a practical, very pragmatic approach. What does vision look like for you? Because, mission is critical because that's helping you stay focused on where you're at. But how do you cast the vision for what's to come for Bible school?
Vision is my favorite thing because I'm a passionate person. I just feel the vision. But I tell you what, when all those other things you're talking about, loneliness, weariness, abandonment, can creep in and get you off the vision, get you off the mission and vision. And so I really take time to pray. And you can call it white space, you can call it whatever you want. But I absolutely pray through what the vision is. I just had an email today. I go over, emails that are going to go out for our team, and they're always like, "Well, how can we say that in a vision should be in every single email you have. It should be in every communication you have." And so that really takes the leader. It takes me to really think through those things because communicating the vision is vision leaks. We know that. We've got to
Mhm.
keep pouring it in. So that white space, it could be, when I'm getting ready to go out, it could be my husband laughs. He's like, you really do this job all through the week, you know that. But when you're thinking, you need to think as a leader, and you need to have space to do that in. And I really I spend at least an hour and a half every morning with God before it's quiet. Everybody's everybody's not moving around at my house. Not to say that I'm any type of special person, but I have to start my morning with God. I have to have that white space. I have to have that time to pray and talk to Him and really listen to Him. The Holy Spirit really tells you a lot if you really are listening to Him
Mhm.
and are quiet. And so those are and people say, well, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how I could do my job without doing that. So I really am a really big believer in that white space, that prayer space, and then prayer warriors around you doing it too.
I love that. And I love that you pour your vision into every email. And I mean, I'm even thinking about the emails I sent to people today. And I love that. Why did I send you this agreement? Why did I send you this request? Why did I send you this partnership opportunity? And I love that if you just pour that into everything. And what a beautiful way to put it, Kori. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is something that really energizes us. It energizes us, and our vision is how God's working in public school. So that's really fun to tell people because they're like, God's working in public school. And I'm like, oh yeah, big time, big time. So
Excellent. Well, now we just covered the four. Can you unpack for us what Bible to School is? Because I want our listeners to hear all about it.
sure, Bible to School is a nonprofit organization started in 1979 to equip communities to teach the Bible to public school children during their school day, not before school, not after school, but actually during school hours. And I know that when I met with you, Tracy, you said, wait a minute, how is that legal?
Wait,
Yes.
you're not allowed to do that. Separation of
Right.
church and state,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the
So
separation
unpack
of
what
church.
that looks like. Yeah.
Sure. Separation of church and state is not even in the Constitution.
Right.
Most people don't know that. But what we have is something called release time. It's a release time federal court rulings, and it's upheld by the Supreme Court that said you can release, there's where the word release comes from, release children off site with parental permission and no tax dollars. Those are the three things that make it legal. And you can teach religious classes of their choice. It could be Muslim, it could be Jewish, and we are the non-denominational Christian arm of that. So they really have politicians way back when saw that kids are mind, body, and soul, and when they took spirituality and the Bible out of school, they allowed us to do this. They allowed the community to do this, and so that's what we do. We help people. We make it easy for people to teach the Bible to public school children during their public school day. We deal mostly with elementary age children, and we have curriculum and coaching and all the things that you need. It's a plug and play. It's a franchise model. So this is how we make a difference in the world. This is our vision.
I love it. And, there's a lot of focus now on choice, charter schools, homeschool, Christian schools, and I support many of them. But I'm a product of public schools. I go into public schools. I have a lot of dear friends that are public school teachers. So it's just so wonderful that they don't have to be at odds with each other. You can supplement what they would get from a Christian school by implementing something like this. Because for some people, not going to public school is not going to be an option.
Right. 87% of all Christian parents send their kids to public school. So they are looking for ways to give kids religious education and even like inviting their friends to come. 54% of our children have no church home. So their parents are like, hey, we don't get to church on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
We have soccer tournaments and all that. So this is convenient. They don't have to pick them up or drop them off. It's very convenient for parents. And it's a good thing. It's something that kids need truth. The kids need morals and values infused in them. And the school, it's funny. People ask me, well, how does the school react? And the school, when they know that this is illegal and they're in their legal lane, sometimes we have to kindly educate them because they don't know. But when they know that, they are happy to have the support of more Christian adults influencing children for the positive, for the good. And so we are happy to serve families in that way.
Well, we'll have the notes where you guys can reach out to Kori to see if it's in Kori's in the Central PA region near me. But this is all in different states, correct, Kori?
Yes, this is a federal court release time federal court rulings. So it is in all 50 states allowed. And our program is in 4 states. We're in Pennsylvania, Idaho, North Carolina, and Texas. But we're looking to be in every state. So we're excited that people are, this is really a movement going on that people, the fastest growing programs that we've seen in public school are release time programs.
Well, and I also love what, Kori, when you talk to me about it as an NTer, you educate parents on what their legal rights are for religious freedoms and liberty. Because I get told, I shared with her before we started about, I was on a Zoom call and I heard something and I was like, I'm not going to say anything, but you're not allowed to do that. So I just love the fact that you not to have it adversarial, but know your rights, and your child needs to know their rights too, because otherwise they'll get tromped all over. And this is something that is at the core of what our country is: the freedom of religious worship.
Well, it's back to that fear thing. And when you do know your rights, you can we call it kindly educating, and we
I love
kindly
it.
educate educators. I had my son who came home and said, my teacher said I was wrong, and I was not wrong. And he said, what is a word what is a word that describes Christmas? And he said Jesus. And the teacher said, "Well, that's not the right word." And I thought, wow, so I ended up going and talking to her. Now, she was a Christian teacher. She really didn't know. She thought that he was not allowed to talk about Jesus at
Exactly.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Oh,
didn't
you
know.
can't do that. Well,
Yeah,
wait. Yeah. Yeah, we
yeah.
can. Interesting. That's wonderful. I love that kindly educating because that's the way it is. Because yeah, make you feel like you can't. So, Kori, what else? I know I wanted to get to that to share with our listeners. Kind of this incredible work you're doing, and I hope to get more involved with because I just me and Christian education in schools, especially that demographic, that elementary school age, where I forget what percentage of it when you are aware, that's when you're most open. And I
Yeah.
love that you hit that demographic. But is there anything else related to the price of leadership that we haven't touched on that you would like to share with our listeners? Because you've been in this for decades.
I would say, sorry, I need to think for a second.
Of course.
I would definitely say that, listening to God is really important, spending time with Him. I would say getting all the facts so that you would, like what your dad said, get away from that loneliness, get away from that weariness, get away from that abandonment thoughts keep that vision going. But I would say having the really good people around you,
Mm.
that is really a gift for me, other leaders that really pour into you, and then you in turn,
Yeah.
pay forward as well. I've had that happen to me several occasions, and I think that's really important in leadership when you're doing what God has designed you to do with a calling that God has designed you to work through for Him. It is a really great feeling, even with these price of leadership, even with these prices that we pay, we can go forward because we have seen other leaders do this. And examples of other people really matter. And then when them coming around you and cheering you on, it's very fun when leaders get together. And so I
Yeah.
would say keep leaders around you, keep positive leaders around you.
Yeah. And like Jim Rowe would say that you're the sum of the five people around you. A leader really will be lifted up by the top, I'm all about followership. The more exemplary followers you have around you, I think of Jesus with the training of the 12, that's who makes you you.
Mhm.
So, and that's you're dealing with the demographic of our next generation of emerging leaders coming up too. And it's just such a beautiful concept. Well, Kori, I just can't thank you enough. Kori, what's the best way for our listeners to get in touch with you? We'll have the information in the show notes, but is there a preferred way for if people want to reach out to you after this?
Sure, they can reach out to me through BibleToSchool.com. That's Bible, the number 2, school.com. I would be happy to talk with them and grab coffee or whatever we need to do. Or if they're interested in what we do in public schools, I'd love to talk to them about that too.
That's fantastic. Well, Kori, just thank you so much. And to our listeners out there, thank you for being a part of our tremendous tribe. If you like what you heard, please hit the like button, leave us a review, an honor of a review, and share this with somebody who is also paying the price of leadership or would like to know more about Kori and her Bible school work. As my father said, you'll be the same person 5 years from now that you are today, except for two things: the people you meet and the books you read. So you just met tremendous Kori. Kori, thank you so much. Oh, and Kori, speaking about the books you read, tell us about your book coming out.
Yes, I've been very blessed to have Focus on the Family and Tyndale Publishing. Going to be publishing my book September 1st of 2026. It's called Backpack Faith: Helping Your Child Confidently Live for Jesus in Public School. And I just pray that it is full of information, full of inspiration for parents to know how to disciple their kids, but also to know, like we just talked about, know the facts about their rights, their religious freedoms in school, in the public school, in the public square, and they can live their faith at home, and they don't have to check it at the door at the public school. They can live it there as well.
That is amazing. I love it. You don't want to check it at the door. So again, Kori, thank you so much. Thank you to our listeners out there. May you all have a tremendous rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Tremendous Leadership with Dr. Tracy Jones. Find out more about Dr. Jones at www.tremendousleadership.com. If you've been ignited by something you heard in this episode, let us know by leaving a review for Tremendous Leadership wherever you listen to podcasts, or by sending us a message through www.tremendousleadership.com.